Good evening, it is Wednesday, May 1st, 6 p.m. I'm calling to order the Agriculture Committee. This is Brown Act, I have to follow these things. We'll start down here with Dennis, introductions.
Dennis, Hosang, Agriculture Committee.
He's a community member.
Robert Wharton, Whitby farmer across the street, volunteer community member.
And I'm Scott McVeigh, I'm a director and chair of the Agriculture Committee. With us tonight is our general manager.
Yeah, Paul Kelly, general manager. Just to mention, Director Johnston did call us at about 4:30, and I think something happened at the mill. He works over at the Trinity Mill in Weaverville, and just said, I can't make it. And then Dr. Harrell, Audra Harrell, had intended to be here, but said some last minute work-related items. Probably the dean of the school wanted to talk to her. She can't make it, but we obviously can have our meeting.
Yep, absolutely. Moving on, if you all please stand. Flag is in the corner over there. And please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now, following our agenda, it's open time, so if any member of the public has anything they want to ask about or bring up that's not on our agenda, you can do that now.
So who we got here?
I'm Gwen, sometimes called Gwendolyn Nifer,
Okay.
former postal worker, or retired postal worker, now sitting on about 20 acres of 240 olive trees. We don't know what to do with it.
Can't sell the olives anymore. Can't sell the olives anymore.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I've been looking around for somebody who might want to use them for planting around for ornamentation somewhere, landscaping.
trees.
Talk to the chair, he's done that.
I've done that. I have about 8 olive trees at Gaia Hotel in Anderson. Really?
Wow.
Give me bought some and,
Would you like to help us out with that?
well, the Savanoviches or Ancient Olive, give them a call. If they're not interested, they may have a recommendation for you.
Just look up Savanoviches and number.
NorCal trees.
No. Yes.
They came out actually
Actually,
and
sure.
were driving through about 8 years ago and stopped at my property. And when I told them I had posted on the bulletin board, they said, well, are you under contract? No. They actually, we discussed, and I signed a contract with them to be exclusive, for them to get trees they wanted. Then they sent a crew in, pruned them all up real nice, at their expense.
Wow.
And it looked real good for a while.
So, excuse me, sorry, Gwen, could you spell your last name?
Yeah, they said it was worse before they came over, but it's N like Nancy, E-I, D like David, E, 2 F's like Frank, E-R.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gosh, I was kind of close, but I didn't have the I.
You guys are neighbors or?
No, I checked her out, she got married, so she got a 4-letter
Oh, the smarter one.
last name.
Well, I was smart, but I got a shorter last name.
Yeah, that was all I got out of that.
The last name is Lind, L-I-N-D, and the first name is Charlotte,
Charlotte?
yes.
All right.
Welcome. Look, you got something already.
What did we get?
A name for something to do with your trees.
Yes, Savannah.
Oh, Spanish.
It's been a long time since we've seen them. Gosh, I can't even remember the last time I saw them.
We're gonna start on the agenda, and these are follow-up discussion items, and we're gonna start with the farmer's market.
Yes, real quick, 4A, the update on the community ag survey, that was gonna be done by Director Johnson. So
Correct.
we'll go right to the next item.
That's why I skipped over it, because he's not here.
I know, but just for the recording.
All right, for the recording. Fair enough.
The recording.
All right, so, community members, any updates from you guys? I have some, but I wanna give you guys a chance first.
I'm good at ideas, and there's an old saying, no job is too difficult to do to the man who doesn't have to do it himself. But There are philanthropic organizations in the community. The largest one is the McConnell Foundation. Red Emerson has a significant size one. The Reading Rancheria loses a lot of money to the state. They used to give more, but now they do give, I'll say, 300,000 a year, something like that. And there's other individuals that are some wealth that contribute. And then there's an umbrella agency that will handle the distribution for these people if they want it. But I don't think McConnell has all of their grants handled by this overview. It has a word Shasta in its title, I can't think of it. I know the Reading Rancheria Tribe doesn't. So there's a potential that we could get a grant from them. Starting a farmer's market is somewhat easy if you start the farm trail, if you get people interested. Then you can start with an uncertified market, which can be problematic. And actually the certified farmer's market isn't as problematic, it just has paperwork. And the expense to the person who's the vendor is, right now I think it's $20 a year. And then to the organization is $75. You have to fill out some paperwork. Well, a grant could actually help some of these people. There'd be a person, a woman, a man, who's a good typist and just fills out the forms for them, so that they would only have to come in and say, I live at this, I'm gonna grow this amount of food, I think it's this amount that's gonna be
Now, we're only
produced.
talking to people who wanna participate in the farmer's market.
Right, the vendors. And so there's a way maybe we could make it cost-free to them to switch over from a certified market where we don't have to charge, or we can charge very little, an uncertified market, to a certified market. And the only thing, when you're a vendor on that day you vend, you have to leave $2 that goes to the state to promote this type of stuff. But it's one idea to look for a grant, and I don't have connections with much of anybody, but I don't have a problem with contacting the rancheria if people would want me to do that, whatever, to see if they would be interested. And it wouldn't take much for a grant. $5,000 would cover all the paperwork, the secretary, and then we could go from there.
It's not
To
a
have
bad
a farmer's
idea.
market.
Hmm?
To have a farmer's market, you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Because
people
I
really,
wouldn't sell a farmer's market.
it's like follow the leader. Once we get this going, right now we just have you two people as guests to hear what's going on, and we have our videographer. What is your name again?
Caitlin.
Okay, we can't do without our videographer. And we get people sometimes that are really experts that know farm. I know a lot now because I've got about 400 hours into studying agriculture. Today, small farmers are actually scientific farming technicians, because if you don't have the scientific in there, you're not going to have a lot of success. So it's really interesting, but we got to get people to come forward and realize that it's not as difficult as they think to follow the leader into this field of farmers markets.
Do we have a community that you have found is actually interested in moving into that situation?
I would think the answer would be yes. I mean, there's a man down the street from me who has a commercial garden, and he contracts with probation to have probation kids, or juvenile hall kids, actually come down and help him do whatever he does with it. So the Reading Farmers Market is very successful, and they have a connection. I think they're in charge of 2 or 3 markets. Then there are outlying farmers markets that are also successful. So we just have to let the people know. We have to sort of have a campaign of some sort to get them interested, and come down here so all the chairs are full to hear what we have to say. But we have to come back.
Well, we probably live down the road just so we could walk it.
I walked across the street. Well, I could, I drove.
Dennis, anything before I weigh in? Dennis? Okay. We started doing this a little while ago because we wanted a chance for anybody in the community, not just agriculture customers, but anybody who wants to go to a lecture and maybe make a little bit of money. So we discussed it at one of our meetings and decided that we'd probably go with the farmer's market at first. The farm trail had been done, it had been successful, but it kind of had challenges because people would drive out from another area and, well, I don't have anything for sale today. So we thought we'd do a farmer's market. I have spoken with Steve Westerby, who's the chair of the Community Centers Foundation, their board of directors. They are interested, but their board meeting was not able to take it up because they have the Strawberry Festival coming. So I have met with the owners of Bonnie's Burgers, and they are interested in having us in the lot right next to them.
I was just gonna ask about what was going on.
Both of them want a porta potty there, so I have contacted the two main suppliers of porta potties, and I know what their cost would be if we choose to go with a farmer's market. So, and we could start that almost any time. I think our main challenge is getting the people in the community to know about it. And, you know, I hate to start a farmer's market, be there, and have nobody show, be in there.
Yeah,
You know, so, our challenge right now is, what is the interest in the community to do this? Because we have two viable locations. I know I can get a porta potty in there fairly inexpensively. It's $45 a month, okay?
See, I have nothing to offer.
$45 a month,
A month. So the,
but then,
and then they would charge for the cleaning. But as you first start it,
yeah,
you know, if we've only got half a dozen vendors, you know, maybe a dozen people show up, is one person gonna use a porta potty in that 2 to 3 hour window?
yeah.
So personally, I just go clean up myself before the market opens up. And then we would have to pay for them to come out and empty it when it was necessary. But we could track usage and know that you don't need to have it empty, but maybe every 2 months.
Yeah, there might,
Then
I
you
don't know about that, I think that I think there might be standards by Sasset County, it's gotta be pumped so often.
Well, I understand that, and we'll look into that. I'm doing some of the initial steps to try to get this rolling. It's not just for farmers, but if you make, like berry jam, you wanna sell it,
product, yeah.
you have lavender plants and you make oils or whatnot, bring them on down, okay? To avoid some hassles with certification, I would prefer vendors sold things by the piece. A bag of tomatoes, a jar of jam, or whatever. And so you don't have to have a certified scale, okay? I think, I'm trying to get this started and make it as easy for everybody as possible.
Yeah, starting out, of course, I think you start small
Yes,
and then work up.
yes.
Well, I think too, just real quick to, our committee member, Robert Wilton, I think if you start out small, you don't have to be certified. That gives, but if you have something, then it's something, a grant would help, right? In other words,
Yes,
that gives you something like, if I was a grantor, I would say, oh, you've had a month of, okay, well,
you've been running this for
you
a
know,
while.
but if you haven't done anything and you're asking for money, I'm like, well, I don't know. So that's the other reason to kind of start small. If you don't mind, just something that occurred to me too when Robert was talking. There is like the interest in the market thing, but I kind of think there needs to be some outreach to maybe 5 or 6 vendors, known vendors, maybe some vendors at in Reading or something, and maybe getting a list of them and calling them and saying, look, if we had a farmer's market here, would you come? Because the other thing is, it would be kind of a bummer if we had 30 people drive by and there's only one booth.
Yeah. Well, that was, one of my initial thoughts was invite people from Idaho.
Yeah.
They're a real small farmer's market also. And I know there's, someone who bakes bread, brings it on down. And they do theirs, what, Thursday nights?
Yes,
Wednesday?
it's
Okay.
Thursday.
So if we did our Saturday morning,
Yeah.
and the reason for Saturday morning was there's more people home from work.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a little better chance of getting some, people from the community to show up.
Apparently in the off-season, it's very small, just a little bit, but when it's, the vegetables, everything are harvesting, it's pretty large.
Good.
Then runs out there and says it gets pretty big, right, you know,
There are
this time of year, it might be 3 or 4 people selling certain things, but
Yeah.
3
There
weeks
are
now,
people from the community who go up there and so.
Yeah,
So we could bring them back in.
yeah. No, I've purchased some, fresh, vegetables at the, Idaho, farmer's market, and it does, probably starting in about July, August, it gets pretty big
Exactly.
when things are harvested.
Bonnie Burger sounds wonderful, because that's a school across the street that's not in
Exactly.
session, we have more parking, it's all available to us if we need it.
Yes, it is.
Especially since it's not on the school base, so therefore that
Right.
area is available.
Right. The other thing that we need to consider is some sort of an A-frame sign or something that we can put at the corner. Farmer's market today with an arrow pointing down towards wherever we end up. We might start at Bonnie's Burgers, and maybe next year it works out to the community center where they have the tables and the cover for the sun and whatnot. So, pavilion type of setup, so that's a possibility. Time-wise, can we lock down a time frame? I was of the opinion that it should be like a 2-hour initially, but we could make it 3, 9 to 11. And if we go to Bonnie's Burgers, there's no restrictions with people coming in to rent their hall, over their community center. So we could run 8 to 11, 9 to 12, whatever we wanted.
At Bonnie's Burgers,
Yeah. So there's a little more flexibility there.
Well, not only that, that would also be, you would have the market, but then Bonnie's Burgers could also possibly, receive something just.
Oh, yeah.
in there.
They're
It's
very
also-
interested, and they're open for
Yes.
breakfast now.
Yeah, oh, really?
Yes,
Wow.
they're open for breakfast at 7.
So it would be beneficial to a larger group
Yes,
and more like community.
okay, I agree. So, do we have any interest in anybody helping make the sign?
I don't have mechanical skills.
Yeah,
I'm talking a piece of plywood, paint it white.
With some
and
door
then
hinges.
Farmer's market today, maybe you throw some flowers on it or something and an arrow,
I probably did get one of my friends who does that. I was asked not to come back to Otter Shot 2 in high school because I just didn't have it. But he said, you've earned a D, we'll give you a C if you don't come back. You're disrupting, so I'll take the C.
Thank you, goodbye.
Well, I have friends that can make that, so I'll take care of the sign, and we're looking
Okay.
like 4 feet on each side, and it's just held together, and maybe even folds up.
Well, I even have a sawhorse that we can lean it up
Lean
and
against
attach,
it.
lean it against.
So we just need the 2 boards.
2 boards painted, farmer's market, arrows pointing down.
You want to say Happy Valley Farmer Market, or just say?
Yeah, Happy Valley Farmer's Market.
Okay.
So are you gonna?
Happy
start
Valley, a
that
little bit
with Bonnie's
smaller,
Burgers?
farmer's market, the Boulder, and then today,
Mhm.
and an arrow, and then we just bring it on down.
Sounds good to me, yeah.
Okay.
And,
I'll bring a trash can down so that we have some trash all the time. If we're gonna do Bonnie's Market, I'll let them know. Because it would be dropped off and left, we will have to tuck it around behind, slightly behind, but it'll still be easily accessible to any vendors or customers, so that we don't end up with kids out of school wanting to kick it over and vandalize it.
Sure.
So we'll, make it out of sight from the road is all. That way. And then, we have to decide on a schedule of who's gonna be there on what days, to be kind of in charge to oversee it,
right.
kind of a thing. I have some commitments in June. I can be down early enough to get started, but, I have some Saturday morning commitments in June.
when do you think we might have the first few vendors out there?
Well, that's the next thing, we have to reach out to people. So how are we gonna do that? Our general manager has suggested we get a list of the agriculture customers and maybe send a postcard, and I'm sure the district would pay for the mailing. Do we want to contact various people in the community? Sort of an outreach program. This video will be posted online so that all customers, and the farmer's market is open to everybody, not just agricultural customers. Anybody who makes something, throws a little extra, has chickens, they can be involved. As far as a cost, I wanna keep it minimal or zero if possible, you know, and maybe we absorb the cost of the porta potty amongst ourselves.
Sure.
I'm willing to cover a month or two of it,
That's not a problem.
you know, and at $45, then I'll have to find out frequency on any state required for cleaning or, you know, emptying, and we'll deal with those costs, okay? If it becomes successful as it grows, then there would be a small fee,
Sure.
maybe a couple of dollars, kind of a thing,
Well,
to go towards
I'll get
that.
one of my friends to make the sign. I have those done in a couple of weeks.
Okay, sounds good.
I built a shop about a dozen years ago, and they had to put a porta potty out. But there are two guys working, and we've got a restroom inside,
Yeah,
but the standard was, there's gotta be a porta potty. They had to dump it once a week. It didn't make a difference if
Interesting.
somebody used it, you had to pay to get
because,
that dump once a week. That was part of a permit,
yeah, that's part of a permit.
right?
Right. On my property, it's a cell tower, and they come out periodically, do upgrades, do repairs, whatnot, and they bring porta potties out.
Oh, okay.
And it is cleaned weekly, but not empty.
But,
And there'll be maybe 4, 6 guys at most out. And typically, it runs a full month before it's emptied, as long as the company runs it. But if we do the cleaning ourselves, and I have the cleaning chemicals and apparatus and whatnot to do it properly, so there's no problem there, and there'll be no cost. I think we can satisfy that, but it is worth looking into, is there a state health code that we have to abide by?
Well, Robert, I think you checked in on that, right?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think, the other thing is when you went to, Reddings, did you see, was there a list of vendors at all, any, like, published?
There's none posted out there, but something tells me there is a list somewhere, like on the internet, who actually goes there. And I'll take a look on that.
Yeah, well, if you find that list, email it to me, and then,
I'll just walk across the street.
like, yeah, or drive.
Well, I was feeling a little lazy. But I need that.
Walk across the street, because I'm thinking one of the things the district can do as well is we could, from the district, send an email or a note to all
Right.
the vendors saying, you know, this is coming up, any interest?
The young man that's the director, I guess he works over in Trinity, he said something, or someone said something about sending out notices to the customers of this district that are ag water customers.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Have we done that?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, good,
No,
We
not-
have, that's one of the things we're discussing.
okay.
And then we can take it to the board and say, is this okay? Because it's a recommendation. The board technically should really approve expenditures, the finance committee. I know it falls under your budget.
Yeah, it falls under my authority, I
I
can
know.
do it, but it would be
But
something.
it is
good.
kind of outside of the district's.
Yeah, but,
You know.
but on the other side too, it's good, I think, to bring before the May meeting to the board, this is what we're recommending to do, I can do a quick calculation,
Right.
it's gonna cost us a couple $100, but, to send it out, but also it gives you another chance to have a public meeting in which you talk about the farmer's market, which is
Right.
publicity, plus it keeps your colleagues informed, which you always want
Exactly.
to make sure.
If we're gonna reach out to Iowa Ono or to the Reading Farmers Market, what are those vendors paying? Because if we advertise and they can come out here and we're not charging them, we could be overrun. And the original idea was to keep it more of a community, activity.
Yeah.
Comment?
If there isn't a public list for vendors, I don't see why you couldn't contact the Reading Farmers Market directly, requesting a potential list of vendors.
And costs
And
for the vendor.
their costs, but at the same time, I don't know if we would necessarily get overrun with their people and vendors out here, because they have such a big draw already
Yes, they do.
between the live cooking segment things that they do there, all the food vendors, and once the season starts picking up versus
Right.
right now when it's a little slower. So I don't necessarily think we would pull away, but maybe some of those vendors might have like a little subsidiary that'd be like, hey, let's, you
Right,
know,
that's what I was thinking. was-
yeah, not maybe
I'd
take
really
away.
like to start small, work through growing pains gradually, instead of being all of a sudden there's 40 vendors out here, we don't have enough room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'd like to keep it local initially, maybe Ono, you know, and take it from there.
I mean, I don't even know if there's a list of Idaho, I mean, that was pretty
Right.
ad hoc.
But Sandy Winters might have contact information for that. We've been doing a lot of talking. Do you have any questions or comments you'd like
At
to
this
make?
moment, we have nothing that we could offer you at the farmer's market.
Okay, that's
There's
fine.
140 olive trees that are doing nothing.
No, I understand.
Yeah, I got some dogs that might do some tricks that might work out.
Do you cure your own? Do you
No,
pick and cure them?
You
You
can't
can.
pickers, we have 240 trees.
Okay,
It's just
so
the two of us here.
I only pick 2 or 3 trees and cure.
See,
And I put them up in quart jars after I've cured them. And, you know, you can do either a vinegar brine or a salt brine.
Yeah.
You could sell those things
I'm
yourself.
not sure that I want
They're
to
green
go
olives,
around
yeah.
with the cleanness and requirements.
I
for
understand.
Selling a product like that. I'm much more into dog tricks. You know?
Not a problem.
Hey, you know, I can come out and do some tricks for you guys out there,
I like it.
you know?
yeah, food wise.
We're entertaining, but food wise, I have never been interested.
No.
All I ever wanted to do after we got the farm is take that stuff, put it on a truck, ship it down to Bell Park. That ain't happening
No.
now.
I did that. I picked myself for a few years.
Well, we did this for
And,
20 or so years.
I would haul in my small pickup one of the totes with my front end up a little bit, driving all the way down the Corning, and pull in front of a flatbed with 2 trailers and double stacked, and I'm the one guy, one little Ben, and he's got like
they
30.
They ceased taking our community stuff.
Yeah,
So that's kind of fun.
yeah.
So I've been thinking about, hey, and maybe we do dog tricks.
When did it stop? When did the market?
In Corningville, Carter, they started buying overseas about 10 years ago. Then it moved to Orland, and then they quit.
They just flat out stopped,
Yeah, they
It's
just
been
stopped.
about 5 or 6 years. that-
Cheaper to buy it from overseas.
Yeah, and.
If you know anybody who wants to buy a really big old olive tree that looks pretty good, let me know.
Was there another canner, for lack of a better word, in the Corning area besides Del Carter?
Gotta get pictures.
Doug Carter was
Nope.
one, you have to know.
No.
And you have to get pickers, you cannot get pickers. You can't bring them in, we.
Used to.
closed that off. Oh,
Used
do
to.
you know what it's, you know what it's like?
I
When
do.
we had them picking out here, they would come in truckloads.
Yes.
And they'd stay in our front yard, and they would pick,
So
and they
now
would
I
walk
have
the
to,
ladders between the trees singing. I mean,
Yes.
it's the most.
and what I understand
phenomenal.
now is that, you know, if you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, you might
Right.
be able to get something done. I know nobody.
I understand.
I love
That's why you could probably look at maybe having some transplanted.
And trying to sell to.
I'm working on that.
Oh, no.
If you know of anybody, man, let me know.
I don't
I'll talk to
know.
Olive Dream and, some other big old olive tree guys, and they're going, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? This is a great tree. Yeah.
Yep.
But they, we really got, all of this is really had sunk.
I'm thinking about
Yep.
splitting the property and making it up for, the other side of the property doesn't have as many trees. Serene Mediterranean existence.
Yes.
I'd love to come here and live you guys.
Split the property, and you could sell 10 acres with some olive trees.
Sure.
The district will be happy to put another meter in.
Who?
You know,
The
the
district.
the water district.
Hey, if we keep in touch with you guys, could you help me along on this?
Possibly,
Do you know
yeah.
what you're doing?
No,
You don't use
for
it.
splitting, you
Okay,
have
you
to
need
apply
to
to the
newsletter.
county.
Okay, so.
You know, there's
just-
certain things you have to follow through
Right, oh,
legally.
yeah.
And then if you get a legal split, and you would probably have to do what's called a perk test, because they'd be on a septic system.
Uh-huh.
The property across the street from me, they're now doing their perk test and waiting to build their home on it. But yeah, you got that way.
Yeah, and it's too bad, because you know, it actually was a wonderful,
Oh,
a
man.
wonderful experience, just having,
And then it just went
it
down
was like,
to.
you look forward to it
Yes.
So,
every year, the
now-
people coming
Do you
in.
have a card or something?
It was just
In touch with
wonderful.
you guys?
No, here's my name.
Okay.
If you go on to the district's website, I believe my email address is posted there.
Okay, district, so what do I do?
The Clear Creek Community Services District. Go to the home page and then just work yourself through the drop downs, and there'll be a list of the directors. And my name will be there with my email address, and you can email me.
Because this is, I mean, I'm sorry, it's just has been an experience with the orchard.
so,
And the workers that came in, oh my God, it was like being in another country.
tell me, what does a Betancourt do? I mean, he's got tons of olives. What does he do?
He has connections.
Yeah,
I isn't spreading the words that everybody else can do, okay?
I think
It would be
got
nice
his
to
own
follow
peppers.
code.
That would be nice,
You
you
know,
know,
sure,
it
man,
would
yeah,
be nice.
Anybody advance for
Yeah.
You know, if you
Yeah,
could get
yeah,
him to
about
be
$1,000
agreeable to use his pickers, would give them more work,
Maybe not a.
and then,
that
you
never
know, they all get
happened.
shipped to the same place.
700.
Maybe he gets a small percentage for his trouble to run the co-op, you know what I'm saying?
And I'm sure
Have
he's
have
done
not had
something.
that kind of interaction.
I
The
understand.
guy next to us,
So do we have
he
a
goes,
number?
yeah, he is
So
on
we
top of
contact?
hot pick.
Yeah, my email address.
So,
Okay, just Scott McVeigh, Vice Chair, or Scott
No,
McVeigh?
just mine, go onto the district's website, you'll see.
Water District?
Yeah, the water district.
so,
Creek
so,
Community Services District.
so I'm wondering, could you sell yours, the Betancourt, since
They're not gonna go.
he's got his own peckers and everything.
Is he still, he's got his own truck?
Pedro, last time we saw Pedro, he didn't say too much about it, but they take care of what's theirs.
I don't even know how to get a hold of him. You got any numbers?
Some historical,
So, yeah, the possibility of just selling the crop to one person.
but I
They
know,
bring the pickers in, the whole works, they haul it off, you get X amount of money. But the issue too, though, is, will you have the water so that the olives will plump properly? I mean, you've really gotta be watering late August, September.
even during the drought, there was not a problem. Olives are a dry land product, a dry land crop. They grow them in the Middle East,
I know.
in the deserts.
I found in my orchard though, that I really needed to water in like late August into September to kind of plump them up a little, especially my larger ones, the Cebullanos. That really, otherwise, they tended to lose weight,
Right.
so.
So,
I read that when they get their water, they produce a bigger fruit, which
Yes.
makes sense. So they survived. Mine wasn't, had water added to it for 32 years till I bought the place, and I didn't do much watering, still don't.
Yeah,
But,
we don't really.
and olives were everywhere, but they're small. Then with the water we got recently, they're larger now. So they do better when they have adequate water, but they do quite fine without.
so I'm looking for a number for Pedro, where would I go?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Oh, we
I
can go
know.
out and see it, don't worry.
and now,
Okay, we go out and see it.
and Pedro, that's his son, is that right?
No, Pedro's still there, we saw Pedro a while back.
Is that the
His
dad
son's
or the
Pedro
son?
Jr. Yeah, he's junior.
Oh, Pedro, they're both Pedro, okay.
There was Pedro and little Pedro.
It's like George Foreman named all his kids George.
Yeah, it's easy.
Mr. Chairman, I think we have a little plan, so let me just,
I wanted to bring us back, right now, back to getting ourselves.
Here.
well, this is good, I mean, the committee needs to have the discussion about the olive issues, but
Oh, yeah.
that's good.
I'm sorry.
But I definitely think sending this guy an email and having a little conversation on the phone would be helpful. But on the farmer's market, we've got
There we go.
what are we gonna do, second and fourth, first and third? What's the thought on that? Have we looked into what other farmers markets are doing? Are there any others that are out there that are doing first and third? And, you know, I don't know, I don't think there are, but I don't.
Most of them are weekly.
Yeah.
Wasn't there one, didn't we used to have one though at the community center there? For a while, we were having a
did.
farmer's market there, there were
We
quite a
did.
few booths there, and
Yeah,
especially when the
right,
store
right.
was open over there too, then that was all
One of the
involved.
issues was the owner of the store would bring his produce over and
Yeah.
undercut.
But he's no longer there, nor is the store.
No, the one over on, Happy Valley and over the road.
That'd be the Valero store.
Yes.
Yeah, where the Valero is, the grocery store there.
Okay, but I'm talking about the community center.
Right.
Oh,
But
the
I
old
do,
store.
Yeah.
I do think, you know, if we start at Bonnie's, you know, number one, you can actually start fairly soon, right?
Yes.
Because I don't, if you wanted to stick to the community center, I don't think you're having any.
No, I'm just
until
saying.
July.
No,
Right.
at the earliest.
Right. So the other nice thing about Bonnie's is it's enough of a shield from the stores, I don't think you have to worry about
I
that.
agree.
Obviously, Bonnie's has, you know, they can give you the space because they know the foot traffic will increase their business. So
Correct.
there's a nice little trade-off there to help one of our local businesses.
And she's been there for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every year.
But I think, so a couple of things. One, you know, it sounds like porta potty, the chair's gonna check into that, check into the frequency it needs to be
Clean.
clean, and sort of
Right.
how, probably some lead time on how long it was gonna take them to get it there. I know they can do it in a day. Robert's gonna work on it with friends that are mechanically inclined to do an A-frame. Also gonna check with the tribe, right? And,
I've actually got a connection with Tribe, with Ready Rancheria.
Good.
I'll be glad to contact them. I know the executive director of the economic development. He lives out here.
Was that the young man from Firewise?
Yeah.
Speaking of Firewise, it would be nice if they had information at the farmers markets. If that's something you guys can do. Even if it's just post some signage or something, and maybe have some flyers to hand out.
yeah, some sort of loop. So, I'm going to put on the May agenda, May 15th, so that the board is aware of what we're doing and that our plan is, unless there's any great objection, we're going to send out a postcard to all of our ag customers, about 262 of them, something like that. And then we'll put it in the newsletter, obviously, that this thing's going on.
I'd like to see that right at the top in bold, farmers market coming.
Yes, so, and then the other thing, is checking with the Reading, group to see if there's a list and.
See if there's a list of those vendors.
And we'll also look online too, but it'd be nice to at least send something to the vendors, you know, that this is happening. The.
I go on also.
And the I go Ono, I think we're gonna have to, like I said, that was pretty ad hoc, I'll send Sandy an email.
Yeah.
and see what she's got.
Touch base with her, she may know her contact. us.
And then, I think, second or fourth, first or third, every week, what's the, you know, just the first?
I'd like to
Second.
start off every other week and start small and let the idea prove itself that it can be weekly.
I would think second and fourth weekend, because the first weekend, sometimes the way the weekend lands, either holidays like 4th of July, two people who get social security, their paychecks don't come in until like the 4th or 5th. So if you're doing it the first weekend, they don't always get their income to come and buy produce.
There you go,
So
I
I
like
think
that.
second and fourth would be better for,
Sounds like second and fourth, if you guys agree.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
There we go.
One thing, I'll just make a comment about Bonnie Burgers, is, there's a Little League use that on Saturday morning?
The ball field and whatnot, they
No.
do, but
Parking.
usually the parking lot, no, that's something
Yeah,
Bonnie's Burgers
parking.
will reserve for us because the school has all that paid parking. So we'll make sure they don't.
And I've seen lots of baseball players there on the weekend, kids or whatever, there's still tons of fun.
Understand, by the end of June, baseball's pretty much done. Maybe they have a tournament,
I'm thinking
whatnot.
that, I'm thinking that might get,
But,
towards the end.
yeah, but this is, and Robert's right, this, I've seen the ball fields completely full and a lot of cars.
Yep.
And some that prefer to park in Bonnie's lot because it's easier to walk across the street.
Yes.
But there's tons of parking, and if there'll be enough room.
Still room.
we'll work that out.
Obviously, you've got a bunch of built-in customers there as well, so, you know,
Right.
people should walk across.
And worst case, if parking's concerned, I'm sure we could just put up some road cones with the little sticks and the little string that goes
Yeah.
across saying
It's
reserved
real
for
easy
parking.
to do.
Yeah.
Real easy to do. Now, let's lock down time frame, since we're doing second and fourth Saturdays of the month. When are we starting and ending? I want to avoid late afternoons because of the summer heat. You know, on a weekday, you gotta almost have to do it into 1, 2 o'clock, but what are your thoughts as far as morning times on the Saturday?
I'm familiar with it, some people get up early, some don't, but Reading opens at 7, which seems a little early to me. But maybe 8 to 11, I think Reading is 7 to 12, but they've been around a long time.
Yes.
So maybe,
Your feeling?
8 to 11?
Fine, yeah.
8 to 11? You wanna go 8 to 11?
I would go 8 to 11, because I think everybody's probably gotten up and had their first 2 cups of coffee and feel more like moving around 8 o'clock. You know, get the kids up or whatever else you have to do, and at 8 o'clock you're more.
For a lot of people, when I went to the first one this year, Reading's,
Yeah.
and they had nothing for sale except enchiladas, but all these vendors had the booth saying what they do, what they didn't do.
Right.
It was very interesting, but it was a big social event. People do these visits for social too. They get
Right.
whatever, they chit chat and have a wonderful time, so.
It's a big.
And that's why to do a community thing
Yeah.
too, just for that social aspect. I like that. I think our challenge at this point is gonna be getting the word out for potential vendors.
Well, we can put it on Facebook.
Right, and the videos will be there.
Do you guys have Facebook?
Not directly.
Right.
There's
yeah.
just
I'm
the
looking for you guys' existence on the net. Is there any-
We could just.
I don't do
post
Facebook
it, you know,
myself personally.
You can
No, I'm
post
just
it.
saying, do you have emails, do you have
Yeah, email.
newsletter?
I have a new email address. I do all my business either in person or by email.
Okay, all I wanna know is find out when the next meeting you're gonna have is.
Oh, that'll
Can I
be
email it to you?
posted, we'll have it on the school marquee. It'll be in the
That's-
newsletter that you
Okay.
get with your bill.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure.
And it gets posted on the website.
Okay,
This is on the website.
Available, fine. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, we try to get the word out.
Yeah, no, that's
It's,
great.
it's a matter of getting people,
I'm all over
Contact
the,
information.
the building.
yeah, these are the
Why don't
company.
you, write your name and, if you do, email, put that down, or?
I know.
So as far
She
as
does email.
reaching out,
Yeah, the younger sister, you know.
She does that, I don't do that. I would, no, please do.
We can start a list of folks that come and then we can send them a notice.
There have been dead industries throughout this country that have come back to life. I wouldn't be surprised if the olive industry in Northern California comes back to life. Right now it's been dead for about 10
Doesn't
years.
matter, I work with trick dogs down there. Trick dogs down.
Skip the trees. Nobody's
I'm
gonna
talking
buy
to
those.
some people, you know, that stand outside of Petco with a hat and collect money for, even humane, you know? They're getting pretty good at it, I just gotta find somebody to help me perfect this whole thing.
I like it.
Okay, let's see, oh, you want a telephone number? Yeah, I'll give you my,
Fine,
give you my email.
Yeah,
Give
email.
them a couple.
while they're doing that, I'd still like to continue discussing
Carry on.
ideas for reaching out to individuals, the people who grow all the lavender and whatnot. I mean, if they make lavender soaps, I'm happy to have them come down and have it. You know, and other people in the community. I know there's a guy in the community who does real nice woodworking and whatnot.
And there's that
I'm open to
mushroom
him.
business, it sells in the ready market, we have Happy Valley mushrooms.
And when you're talking about the area, I mean, right there by Bonnie's Burgers, you're talking about the schools there, the field is there, the football field and that, where you always have interaction with people coming in, they're bound to see something if it's right there in front of them, and it's a place where you can go get it.
Yeah.
If you're selling your produce, you've got it right there, and then Bonnie's Burger makes
Yeah,
about 4 and 2, so.
you
well, covers a lot
said
of
there
people.
was Happy Valley Mushroom Growers selling it ready?
Yes, it's called Happy Valley Mushrooms, and their booth looked, wow, that's a lot of money. Fancy booth, fancy flyers.
Yeah.
So I looked it up, and it exists out here somewhere, it's a mushroom business. So I did
Or-
research on mushrooms.
AROK.
It's lower Northern California, still Northern California. It's major business, and they do it like a factory. I mean, they.
Watsonville, Salinas
Yeah.
area,
It's
they do a big business out
It's
there in
incredible
mushroom.
how they, but these people, I'm sure, small scale, but wow.
Well,
Um,
we're all getting there.
mushrooms. It's just.
We're all getting there.
And so, how do we reach them, to let them
Thank you
know?
very much.
I think I have their phone number at home. But
Would you look for that,
Yeah.
please? Let's get it to,
Next time we-
Paul,
That's
you can
it.
get it to me, we'll reach out to them. I wanna get the number to the lavender people and other people like that, and invite them to participate.
What's the name of the man that lives just down the street from me and apparently has a large commercial garden that he contracts with probation? Do you know his name?
Yeah, that was one of the,
And also, about 2 months ago, a man stopped and knocked on my door and said, hi, I said, hey, I'd like to, buy your olives, have a picker pick your olives. I said, well, that's weird, because no one's doing so well. My mom has 200 some odd trees.
Yeah,
I have another X number of acres with 400 trees on it or something. And I am going to have them picked, and I'm looking for other people. I said, well, I really don't want them picked this year, but I may give me a call next year. So someone was out here who had a market for them somehow, not a whole bunch of them, but a market.
yeah, because Pedro's lives down the street from us, and, next door, he has loads of trees. He
Harvest.
Huh? Yeah,
That's the first.
he smells it. And he had his people come in, but it wasn't like he was bringing them in.
No, like we used to do.
Right.
He used to do, when Pedro brought him in, it was the whole area was picked by his people.
And again, sometimes there's, what makes it isn't here anymore. It's not there, so someone says, okay, I'll buy it. In Texas, ranchers said, look, we don't get the money for the beef, the middleman does. The retailer gets a nice hunk, we get a little, the middle person gets a big.
Well,
So a
that's,
bunch of ranchers became the middle person. They opened a huge slaughterhouse packing facility.
Sure.
so it'll be
who
interesting
knows?
to know where they're selling their olives, because I know the Bell Pottery taken.
Well, no, they're not. They haven't for a number of years, go ahead.
yeah,
So if you got it in, yeah, I guess you're good, but if you don't, yeah.
I would suggest that we accumulate vendor contacts,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that
Right.
an email gets sent from Chair McVeigh, as chair of the ag committee that's
Right.
facilitating farmers market. We'd like to invite you if you have interest, the second and fourth, that kind
Correct.
of thing. And then you can kind of collect that and know, like, oh my God, we've got 40 people that are going to show up, or, oh good, we've got 10, perfect, type of thing.
Yeah.
So I think
Right.
that would be my suggestion, that way it's done kind of that manner.
I agree, and,
Fun.
what I wanna talk about is the process of getting those names.
Well, Robert's
I'll
gonna
see
check
if,
on
I
that.
think, there is a list, I don't know why I know there's a list, but there's a list of vendors, I'll find that list.
I think it's online too, but
We
I'm
need to
trying to see if I can
reactivate
find
this.
it.
Still something
We're
that has to
trying.
happen.
We're
I
trying.
know you are. It's not an easy job at this point.
I don't know who does the lavender, or some of the other things. So I'm willing to call these people. I need names and numbers.
Apparently, there's a lavender farm in northern Kansas, it has 10 acres, and they grow mostly lavender, but they also grow other stuff.
There's supposedly
They
one
live
in
on
this
the board.
district.
Yeah, right down the street.
Okay, well, I don't know who they are.
29 rows.
So I've got my staff working on add customers and names of farms lists. I'll get that to you so that you could have
If
that.
we had a list of the people who used to be on the farm trail, that might be helpful, though some of them, I'd like to reach out to, Johanna Tenary, who used to be on the board, and let her know what we're doing, see if she's interested in being a vendor. She does berries, people usually come to her place and pick, but maybe she has something else that would like to do that.
I definitely think we should, she should be on your list when you send out an email.
I agree.
So we jump down to the next one.
In a minute, I don't see us proceeding with the farm trail until we have reached out to these people. So I'm looking at mid to end of June before we start. But I'd like to set a date as a goal so that we kind of get motivated and get moving. And if anybody's watching this video and you or your neighbors are interested, reach out to us and let us know so that we can get this rolling.
So I think you've got June 8th or June 22nd in June, or your
22nd.
Yeah, would probably be the best one, but that's up to you.
Right, well, it all depends on how this comes together.
Sure, but that's a good goal date, you think?
Yes,
Okay.
I agree.
Well, the reason why I'd like to have a goal date is, you know, if I'm putting something in the newsletter that's, everybody's gonna open up on June 1st, and I know all of our customers read every word of the
Oh,
newsletter.
absolutely, and that's my
They will
issue.
see that, and we're gonna put on there, 22nd of June.
Yes,
Uh,
so, I think the 22nd is probably gonna be the target date to start.
Yeah,
unless
you hear some, you know, who knows, Bonnie's might tell you, oh, you know, we're taking our holiday that day.
Well, that's okay, we still will be able to use the lot
Right.
next to them,
Okay,
okay? So we have some work to do to get this going, okay?
But it's fun work.
Fun.
I'll talk to, Lenny Manchuria.
All right, thank you. Moving on with the agenda, I don't see a reason to discuss the farm trail. I'd like to just scratch that.
Wait, but Dennis has something.
No,
You can-
we'll just skip over it and go to the next one.
Okay,
If we're gonna stick with a farmer's market, I'd like to hold off on discussing or spending time on a farm trail.
yeah.
Workshops, agricultural activities of any sort. I do know that our doctor, who couldn't be here tonight, has students who might be able to come out and do some informational things on soil types, on possibly olives, and what to do with olives out here,
Oh,
okay?
you had me at the law.
See, so I think farm advisor,
There you go.
the UC farm advisor would be good.
Okay,
He apparently is retired, I went there, and he comes in once a week, and you can, if you catch him, good for you, if not, you can leave an email, he'll answer your farm questions. But the Tama County one, equivalent Tama County, knows that there's shortage up here, and so he will actually take questions and answer for Shasta County people too, because there's that shortage.
I don't know what kind of question that.
Yeah.
So, Robert, could you send me their emails?
Hmm?
Could you send me the emails to the two farm advisors? Do you have?
Yes, yes, I'll give you the address of both this, because I may have said, if you think you can get into it from the way their address is, you can't. It's supposed to be on Hartnell, we have to sneak in before cars.
Yes, you do.
Coming off of Victor. Yeah.
yes,
you have to
I
get
had
it
to go
quick.
there.
Because I'd like to just start the outreach to the farm advisor, because I agree, I think it may take months.
Yes,
But I know Dr. Harrell is very interested in doing something, and, you know, we could use this facility, but it'd be great if we get the farm advisor to come here and
I
we could,
agree.
you
You
know,
might be able to draw more people
yeah,
to the
if,
meeting.
right,
In
if
that
we could
respect.
get them scheduled a few months in advance, that way it gives us some time to put it on our website and
I agree.
try to get people to come.
Okay, what is your website, by the way?
ClearCreekCSD.org.
So Clear Creek
CSD, Community College Association. And Robert, I know it's early yet, but if that gentleman comes back by your house again in the fall, asking about picking olives, if you can get his name and address, then we might be able to post it on the website
Yeah, I should have done
and
that.
share that with anybody in the community, and maybe that gentleman would be interested in picking. I mean, I'm willing to sell him some olives from mine, if he's interested.
Oh, shoot, yeah.
So, you know, and then you guys, the same thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see what we can get going. It's gonna take time.
Excellent.
We learn a lot from the guests, and I've said before that Red Bluff High School has their own olive oil.
What's that?
Spark olive oil. Yes, they do, whether they own 5 acres and do it themselves or buy the olives in Preston, I don't know, but they have their own olive oil. They have a very good ag department, and Portage Ag Department, Portage High School is that sort of state award. So it's alive and well, just
Got
isn't
some
exploding yet.
I worked,
canopy in your olive tree.
for quite a while, but I
Got some
really
holes in
enjoyed
them
that.
and have the dogs
People
jump through
down
the
there,
holes
that agricultural
and sell
business, and that's
tickets.
just a great place to be.
I was born and raised in
The tree.
It's a wonderful little town.
I just did, I said, I have friends to my dog tricks in the front yard.
Joking, well, I was born the first half of the last century, which was
That's
true.
okay.
I'm getting up in the years.
Well, I was born in the middle of the last century.
He just looks young. He's not older than me.
Am I?
You're
73.
Oh, no, I'm senior.
Don't
I'm
ask.
senior. You're over 75?
Yeah.
How old are you?
Paul.
How old are you?
That's a good question.
Okay, you don't have to tell, it can be a secret.
But you gave me some thoughts.
Maybe get a little stage. Time flies, doesn't it?
It does, I don't.
That's why. So
You know, I mean,
My
we
youngest
need to
turned
talk.
40 this year. Well, that's my youngest.
Well, I've got a boy that he's a nurse, he lives with me. He's 56.
I will remember.
And my oldest granddaughter is 34.
Okay.
No problem.
28. I mean, how
We
did all
adjourned or?
No, not yet. I'm trying to get this wrapped up and moving so we can get to the last item
Sounds fair.
on the
Be sure to
agenda.
come back the next ag meeting.
Oh, no, absolutely,
Scott.
going down the road.
Good.
As
I'm
long
just
as
across
we
the
get-
street.
as long as we can do that.
You see an old man walking with 2 sticks, that's me, don't hit me.
I wouldn't do that.
And
once-
sometimes things happen.
Some of them.
Okay, so we want you to do any more, just.
Caleb, share with them the YouTube
What?
channel that you have, that they can see the past meetings or other things.
I would write it down.
No, it's
That's
okay.
fine. Write it down.
I'm gonna have to let the dogs out in here.
Okay, we're almost done here. Anything else we want to bring up before I bring up the last item?
I don't have anything else.
Nothing else? Then, okay. When's our next meeting gonna be? Because we need to have another meeting and get this organized before we start this up.
Oh, absolutely, well, I guess, you know,
Let's take a look at, I know I've got the board meeting, I've got at least one, if not two, finance committee meetings.
Well, just remember too, we have a special meeting June 5th, which will be the
Yes.
budget workshop and bank selection.
But,
What about the 29th of May? Yeah, after the last.
29th of May?
Strawberry.
Strawberry Festival is 25th and 6th.
Okay.
29th would be a Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's just why I brought it up.
Okay.
Now, as far as bank selection,
We're
was
best friends
our bookkeeper account able to get the responses from the respective banks?
I don't know, she's out on sick.
I know she is. I wasn't sure. Because we wanted to look that over before making a recommendation to the board on the 5th. And, are we still set for a finance committee meeting? Because we need to.
I don't know if we've selected a date.
I don't
but
think we have.
I think we were shooting for the 22nd of May, Wednesday.
A week after the board meeting.
Yeah.
I'm open to that.
Okay, so for this meeting, Ag Committee meeting, May 29th,
That's all right.
6 p.m. Okay. we've always been doing the ag at 6 because Logan has had time to get home from
Okay,
work.
yeah,
So that's why
I
it's
can
6,
understand that.
as our other director,
Okay.
okay? And I know 4 sounds nice, but when you're dealing with issues of the district, especially like the finance committee, I want the public to be able to come and meet, express concerns, or, present us with ideas or whatnot. I mean, we're dealing with next year's budget coming up right away. So,
And I'm not off work until like 5:15, 5:30.
right, and it's,
Yeah.
so that is another reason for that. Anything else?
May